Hey everybody, welcome to astronomy, and yeah, let's get going. I'm Professor Robison, and I'll be leading you through the course this summer term. Now, first off, if you want to call me Greg or Dr. Robison, that's perfectly fine with me. You have my permission to do so. And I've put this video together just to be, first of all, an introduction to me, an introduction to the course, and kind of walking you through the stuff that needs to be done or the basic outline before we actually jump into the material. So I assume that since you're enrolled in an online course that you're all familiar with Moodle, and that is how I will be delivering the majority of the class content, whether it be pre-recorded lectures, homework assignments, exams. All of that gets funneled through Moodle. So that's the first thing that we have to double check is log into Moodle and make sure that you can actually see the course. Now it should be listed something like Astronomy 165Z as in Z. And I'll go ahead and just pull up my own dashboard here. And you should see it right here, somewhere in the list of courses that are in progress. First off, if you can't see that, then the question is, how are you viewing this video? But that, and so if you're having problems there, please feel free to email me and we can get that straightened out. Now, I've got this loaded up as a student, so you should see this kind of format, all of this items like you see right now on the screen. And I'll first draw your attention to probably the most important document in the course is the syllabus. So we'll go ahead and open that up, and you have all of your nitty-gritty details. You've had these through your college career so far, and this is no different. But please take a minute. I've tried to make this as compact as possible. Okay, so it will not cover every single nitty-gritty detail about the course, but it should be sufficient for you to have a good general overview of what's expected of you. So of course you have the standard things like how to contact me, whether it be via email or a phone call to the office. And I'm perfectly amenable to doing things like holding one-on-one team sessions or even a group of people at the same time if that's something that might be appealing to you and several of your classmates. So that information is just displayed on the right-hand side here. Other things that are required, of course, a stable internet connection, a computer, and I've tried to build the course using as many open source resources as I can. So for example, the book is freely available online, so you can just download that legally, not like, a pirated copy. The publishers of the book freely distribute that book as a PDF. Same thing, some of our labs will be using external websites. Some of our labs will be using an open source program called Stellarium. It is a planetarium that you can download on your computer and actually navigate the night sky. And some of the lab exercises will walk you through how to download that, how to start playing around with it, how to start making measurements with that. So I'll leave that for some of the lab exercises and the discussions that come from that. Also, of course, most people are interested in how do I pass this class. So we have a breakdown of the different components of the class and their respective weightings. I have gone ahead and scaled the course out of 1,000 points. And so it should be fairly simple for you to figure out where you stand in the course at a given moment in time. And of course, you have your grade breakdown. The rest of this is the description of the various components. So of course, I've already said I've pre-recorded lecture videos. Partially I do that for ease for you because I recognize that you probably have all varying different schedules over the summer. So doing something synchronously, everybody getting together at the same time, just doesn't seem like a particularly feasible approach. So that's the video section. Now, based on that, I want to have some interaction with you somehow, and also other classmates having interaction. So I have also posted discussion forums on the Moodle pages, and I expect you, after you watch a video, you get into that discussion forum and you type a couple of questions that you have. And you don't just, throw those off into the ether, but rather you're coming back. So not only do you have to pose questions, but I also expect you to at least answer one of the questions that another student has asked in that forum. Okay. Now, of course, I'll also be around so I can throw in some comments and suggestions or, those kind of things, particularly if there's an interesting question that didn't really get answered. Ideally, it would be the questions you pose are either sparked by the content in the video, so directly related to it, or are, clarifications that, hey, Greg, I read this thing about stars. How does that fit in with the information that you gave me in this video? Okay. So those kind of things. So that's both the video, the completion, watching it, and the participation. Homework, as you know, there's regular homework assignments just based on the content, and those are all accessible through Moodle as well. So I'll show you that in a minute. Same thing with laboratory exercises and exams. The laboratories are set up as what Moodle refers to as lessons, and so hopefully it's a step-by-step walkthrough both of what you're expected to learn and then how to actually get measurements to get to a final answer. So it's it's a bit of a mix of some video, then there's some instructions, and then there might be a question or two to get answered, and then it's some more video or some more instructions. So it's all interleavened like that. Exams, of course, a necessary evil in any class. Yes, these are I don't want to say cumulative, but they cover multiple sets of homeworks, and they are timed. Unlike the homeworks untimed, and incidentally, you get multiple attempts if you so choose. The exams, it's a one-shot only, 90 minutes or bust. Okay. Now, the thing is homeworks are supposed to be a practice for the exams. Okay. In other words, you should have completed the homework assignments before you attempt the exam. Okay? Say that just straight out. Okay, good. Of course, the second page is some questions that I regularly get in astronomy on the left-hand side, and then some resources available to you on the right-hand side. Policies such as academic honesty, healthcare, et cetera, et cetera. The last two pages are probably the ones that I find the most important. I've tried to set up a schedule of expected completion dates for everything for this class. Okay. So what you have listed here are the title of the videos that I expect you to complete on the date indicated, as well as, for example, here's 2 videos and then a homework assignment or a submission that I get from you. This is in addition to just the regular discussion, question and answer stuff. Okay. Now you say, wait a minute, Greg, what do you mean by expected completion date? Okay. I have in Moodle set up, in fact, why don't we back out so that we can talk about that first. I have in Moodle set up expected completion dates, which will display both on your calendar. Okay, we'll go to the second day, which will display both on your calendar and the upcoming events. How I've set this up, because I recognize that you have different obligations and sometimes you might not be able to exactly get something done when I ask you to have it done. Okay, that's fine. It happens. I have 2 kids, Graham and Nora. Sometimes baseball games get in the way or, this, that, or the other. Completely understandable. But what I also want to give you is some indication of the progress that you're making through the course. Okay? So everything has opened right now. Okay? You should be able to access anything and everything. Okay? And it will close the last day of the term, July 8th. So in a very strict sense, you could do everything the last day of the term. Okay? I do not recommend that. That is not a good way to learn. And the wealth of information that you're expected to get through, it's not possible to cram. Okay? So although everything is not due until the last day of the term, that is by no means should that be interpreted as wait until the last day. Okay? What I want to give you is some flexibility so that if something happens, you don't have to worry about getting your homework assignment in exactly at midnight on a specific day. Okay? So it gives you a little bit of flexibility. Please try to meet the expected completion dates to the best of your ability, and that will keep you nice and paced through the term. If something happens and you can't quite make a deadline on the expected completion date, that's perfectly fine. The homework assignment will still be accessible. You won't be penalized. The only thing that will happen is it will disappear from this upcoming events kind of list. So you'll have to remember that it's there and go back and get it done. Okay? I beg of you, please do not try to cram this all into a single week or anything like that. Okay? That is not why the flexibility is there. Good? Cool. Let me backtrack. I said, hey, I've got videos for you. So what you can do is, let me scroll down for the first video. You can click on the video and you should have a player that pops up. Okay? And of course you can click play and it should go ahead.
Welcome to another round of astronomy. And yeah, let's
start talking. Okay? Now it's hosted through YouTube, so the resolution should update here. Embedded in the videos, just to make sure that you're kind of keeping up with the material, there are questions that will periodically pop up. I have started a video here and this has the question already visible. Let me go to half screen so it's a little easier to see everything. So you have a video and at some point it stopped and asked you a question and it'll say check. So I'll go ahead and check that. And it should give you some sort of feedback about whether you had the answer right or wrong. Perfectly fine. Those are not graded for correctness. Okay. It is a check to see if you kind of stop, think about the information that we just talked about, and try to apply it. If you get it right or wrong, that's perfectly fine. You will get credit for viewing the entire video. Now, at the end of the video, you should have a screen like this pop up. So for this particular video, excuse me, let me get that out of the way. For this particular video, there were 2 questions asked during the video. It gives you an idea about how well you scored on those questions, whether you got them right or wrong, correct or incorrect. Okay. The way to get credit for the video, regardless if you had the embedded questions right or wrong, is that you must hit the submit answer button at the end. When you do that, you should get some confirmation that your answers have been submitted. And more importantly, what will happen is that you will get credit for viewing the video. Okay. So now if we go to the gradebook in Moodle, you should see that you have full credit for that particular video. Good. Okay. So that's the video stuff. Let me back out here. You'll notice that under each heading, I've got several videos, but you also have the discussion forum, and that's where I expect you to post your questions and answers, responses to other students. And usually it's just something like, I would put something like GR, maybe GRob question. And you might want to put some descriptive title, star chart. And then you can put blah, 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 blah. Post a forum, and that should then allow other people to click on it, see what you've written, and you can reply. Right? There's other examples. So if you prefer to reply, you can do it typewritten. If you prefer, you can even go to advanced, and you could do things like record a video or take a picture or record a video. If you're not the kind of person that likes typing, but you would rather have a visual or an audio for that matter, you can use your webcam and record a short video as a response. That's perfectly fine as well. Okay. So let's cancel that. I'm going to delete that because you don't want that there. Oh, we don't want that messing up everything. And so I will periodically go through, say, Wednesdays and Sundays and kind of give you scores for the questions and the answers that you've provided. Okay? Okay. Outside of that, yeah, I mean, I would encourage you to kind of just scroll through and look at stuff. But we have things like I've downloaded the astronomy textbook, so you could also just pull it straight from the Moodle website. Some information in case you find that you're having trouble with this, that, or the other. You need to access something that's on Hanover's campus. I've left this here, a course feedback, completely anonymous, in case that you want to see something that you have issues with something, or you think that there's something that should be changed. I'm hoping, if you prefer not to, I'm hoping that this is a comfortable enough interaction that you could just email me directly with your thoughts or comments. But in the event that you feel like it's too sensitive or that you're too uncomfortable, there's a way to do that anonymously as well. And then after that, I've just tried to break up the rest of the course in some sort of fashion that makes the most sense topically speaking. So you have a set for exams, and you see that there will be 3 exams in the course, but they are not accessible until you have gotten grades for the homeworks which cover the information similar to the exam. Okay, so you can't access the exam until you've actually done the homework assignments and received grades for those. Okay. So laboratories, self-explanatory. I mentioned that these are lessons, and so you'll see that they'll have some writing. You can see this has about 10 pages or so. And as you go through, it gives you some instructions. I'm hoping that there's some videos or some screenshots that you have. And as you go through, it'll just kind of walk you through all of that. I'm sorry, I'm looking for a video. Yeah, so I've also...
Alrighty then. I'm going to go just a little further and put
embedded videos and that kind of thing. So it's a mix mash of different things there. So hopefully that will be somewhat explanatory as you start moving through it. Once you complete a lab, there will be a lab, for lack of a better term, I'll call it a lab homework afterwards. And again, you won't be able to access the lab homework until you've completed the corresponding lab. Okay, so just be aware of that. There's some, you have to do this before you do that kind of stuff. And then after that, we break into just the content of the course. Now you'll notice, again, I've got the videos posted, let's say STAR stuff. I have a practice assignment just so that you get used to doing homework quizzes in Moodle. So let me know if you have any problems there. The actual lecture homework stuff, again, according to the syllabus, this has an expected completion date. And then several videos to watch. The additional resources, those are just things that I have found interesting that pertain to particular subject material in the class. And I just thought, well, hey, maybe you find this interesting too. So some of it's about history, some of it's about art, some of it's current topics. By no means are these required. But again, I found them interesting and thought that I should provide those in case they pique your interest too. Similarly, if you find a video that you find interesting and you think I might find it interesting, please feel free to pass it along or post it in the forum link or the discussion link and, the discussion forum and, share with everybody, and who knows, maybe it'll end up on this page at some point. Okay? I feel like there was something else, but now I've completely forgotten about it. So we'll leave it there for the moment if that helps get you started off on the right foot. And yeah, perhaps even post some questions that you might have in the discussion forum just about the introduction, and I'll try to answer those as soon as possible. Hey, let's have a good summer. Reach out to me if you have some concerns or anything like that, and we'll just get going. Thanks for your attention. I'll see you next time.